The ATA show this year, we've been asked by quite a few customers and dealers if we're going to do some tutorials on how to work on these things, and what better time to start than right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically break down this particular Nitro. We're going to replace the timing cable in it. It's very important to stay fully hydrated while you're working on your Nitro. You pick the beverage. We're going to press forward with this. What we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to take the timing screw here. We're going to back it off just a little bit. There's a washer on the back side of it. Hold that, twist this timing screw back just a couple twists. It doesn't have to come all the way out. Then what we're going to do is we're going to back the pressure off of these energy limbs here by taking the Allen wrenches that are included in your kit. You're just going to turn these limbs back so that these limbs, limb pocket guides on the riser get to about this point here on both limbs. So we're going to back this one off so that we take all the pressure off of the boat. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and de-string it. You can set it on your leg, and then you can pop this string right off. You can set that off to the side. So now we've got an unstringed bow. The next step is we're going to go ahead and take the small Allen wrench that comes in your kit, comes in the box, and we're going to place that right here on the lower timing wheel. There's a little Allen wrench slot, which is the tensioner, or the set screw rather, for the tensioning screw. We're going to back that off just a little bit, and then we're going to take a flat bladed screwdriver, a large one, and we're going to counter rotate that screw. And what you're going to see is you're going to see these timing cables, or excuse me, we're going to back this off, and you're going to see those timing cables come back out of that pocket. That's about as far as you need to go right now. Then we're going to bounce up to the top timing wheel, this guy here, and on the inside you'll see an Allen screw with a washer. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that all the way out. So we're going to back that out all the way, set that screw off to the side along with the washer. So you've got these two here, set those off to the side, and then what we're going to do from this perspective, or this point, we're going to take something that's soft like a pen, and then we're going to push on this timing screw on the other side, the tightener rather, and what we're going to do is we're going to pop that out. So this is the tensioner. We're going to slide that out, and then we're going to pull the old cable crimp out of that timing cable. So that's out on this end here, and then what we're going to do is, since we've taken the Allen wrench, or the Allen screw rather, out of the top end, what we're going to do is we're going to release that. So the timing cable, for all intents and purposes now, is unattached. Now we just need to reroute it away from the cams and the cables here. So what we're going to do is we'll start it here at the top. And what I like to do is take your left hand, if you're right-handed, hold onto the cam on the off side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this cam cable, this one back here, we're going to take it out, and then we're going to rotate the cam forward, and it's going to release this cable, the saddle cable on the front. That allows us to get this timing cable out of the way. So then what we're going to do is we'll put this back together. So we'll take the saddle cable, put it back in, rotate the cam back. We're going to plunk this cam cable bushing back in, and then we're going to loop that back up over the draw stop saddle up here on the top. We're going to repeat that same process back here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take your right hand, hold the saddle and cable on the off side of the timing wheel, and then we're going to rotate this forward, and we're going to relieve that, and then we're going to get that reroute, or take the timing cable off of that pulley again. Then we're just going to reroute this so that these cables don't completely de-string. And then we're going to put that bushing, or that crimp, back in there, and then up over the saddle, and that basically keeps everything together. Now that we've got it loose here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this grip, we're going to take another set of, or your Allen wrench that comes in the box. We're going to back this, the 2 screws off of the grip. So we'll take these all the way out, set them off to the side. Same thing here. We're going to back that out, pull this grip off, rotate this back over, pull this grip out, and then there's a timing cable guide here underneath the grip. We're going to pull this old timing cable out and set it off to the side. So we'll set that one over there. Then we're going to grab our brand new timing cable. Something that's important to do when you first get this is make sure that you crimp it or mark it so that it's dead center up at the top end. So these 2 lengths are identical from the crimp down at the bottom up to the top, and you can see how there's kind of a bend in that here. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to basically repeat exactly what we just did. So we're going to sort or feed that through this bottom guide here, and we're going to lay it up just like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, so the crimp, and we're going to slide it inside the timing wheel. On this bottom timing wheel there's a hole at the top, and we're going to slide it down through after we pull these cables and route it underneath. So we're going to pop this cable back off again. We're going to rotate the cam forward. That's going to release this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take we're going to split the timing cable. We're going to put one on the lower pulley and then one on the top pulley. And you really don't, we haven't determined which is going to go top and bottom for the top timing wheel. So we're just concerned about this right now, and you want it to look a lot like this. So you've got this cable down here, so it's basically split around that timing wheel. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and route these cables again. You're going to put those back in, route it up and around, and then put it back up over that saddle. Then what we're going to do is, like I mentioned before, we're going to drive this crimp down through this timing wheel here. So we're going to drive it in here. It'll be in this hole here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to push that out with a pen or an Allen wrench. We're going to drive this out. I'm going to push just a little bit, and then we should be able to get this to pop out. So we want it to slide out so that you've got about this much room sticking outside of the actual timing wheel itself. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the tensioner, and we're going to put the crimp inside the tensioner. So we're going to drop that in there so that it's flush with the outside, and then what we're going to end up doing with this is we're going to rotate this tensioner screw back into the actual timing wheel itself, and you can use a screwdriver, and you just walk this thing back and forth until it falls right back into place like that. So once you're there, you've done everything that you need to on this side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the bow up, we're going to set it on its limb pockets, and then we're going to work on getting it routed for the top timing cable. So we've got it routed here, everything's correct, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come back up to the top. We're going to take these cables off up here, and then the only tricky part about these routing these timing cables is what we need to do is we need to make sure that this cable, as it comes up, everything's lined up straight. So you can see that this cable here is routed over this bushing, and then it's going to come up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the long end of this cable, so this cable here, this one, and we're going to twist it just once. It's going to go over the bottom pulley here, and it's going to go around the bottom of the timing wheel. So I'll repeat that one more time. So what you've got is you've got the cables ran straight, you've got this cable here on the bottom, this is going to go around this top timing wheel. So what we're going to do is we're going to twist it, just one twist, wrap it, and then it will come up and around. So you want it to look about like that when you're ready to put these cables back on. So then we're going to reroute the top or the saddle cable, then we'll reroute the, doggone it, we're going to put this sucker back in here, and then we are going to put the cam cable crimp back in the cam, get it to come back up over the draw stop, and there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this, the bent end or the 90, the pointed end back inside this this top timing wheel. So we're going to rotate this back over, and then we're going to take this, and you're not going to be able to see this all that well right now, but I'll show you once we get it placed how these things are supposed to go together. So what we're doing is we're just pushing this back in, and what we want to see when you're done is you want that crimp or that bend, the 50%, so half of the cable, you want that corner or that apex right in the top, or right dead center in that timing wheel, right the way that it is currently in this in that position. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the washer and the bolt that we took out, we're going to put the washer back on, then we're going to put the bolt back in, and that'll hold everything back together up here on the top end. So then we'll tighten this down, and it can go back tight, and then make sure that everything's routed correctly. So we've loosened this up quite a bit. Before you go any further, make sure you stay hydrated. It's very important that throughout this process you don't get frustrated. Just take it a little bit at a time, and it'll all come back together. Now with this, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to put the timing cables over the top of the timing wheels, down on the pulleys, all the way down the riser. We're routed through here, through the timing cable guide. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put the timing cable on those guides, and then in this particular position what we're going to do is we're going to put the screwdriver back in the tensioner, which is this thing here, right here on the timing wheel, and we're going to tighten this up. And so you're going to go clockwise, and you're going to see these cables start to tighten up, and you don't want to go too tight right out of the gate, just simply because you want to make sure that it's routed correctly. And if you can see right here, this cable isn't on that pulley, so we need to make sure that everything lines up, that everything's the way that it needs to be. So the cables are on those pulleys, and then we're just going to keep tightening this until everything, you know, lines up the way that it needs to. And you can see right up here on this timing wheel here, it's not lined out, so we're going to lay that in there. We're going to tighten this dude up a little bit tighter. Everything's lining up right. Take your small little Allen wrench back in your set screw, and then you're going to tighten this up just a little bit tighter, and then go ahead and tighten that down. So what we've got here is we've got a cable that's ran all the way around, down the two bushings here, down the riser, through the timing guide here, on the two risers here. Everything's lined up and ready to rock. We've got the timing cable on, everything's routed correctly. Now we're ready to put the string back on. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and put the string back here on the bottom limb, and then we're going to load this slightly here, and then we're going to put the string back on like this. At this particular juncture now we can go ahead and put the grip back on, slide that back in. It's all pretty self-explanatory how this goes back together. So you're just going to put those two screws in, tighten this dude back down like this. And now we're pretty dang close to being wrapped out. So now in this particular position you can check the tension on your timing cable. If it's a little loose like this, you can tighten it up a little bit more. I don't recommend over tightening the timing cable. You just want it tight enough that it doesn't derail as you draw it. So you want it, you know, fairly tight, but not over the top tight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some pressure back on these energy limbs here. So we're going to load this back up. We're going to load the bow back up. Depending on where you had it prior to, you can check these riser guides on the limb pockets as they go down, and you can mark on there if you choose, you know, where you were prior to. But you want these gaps, you know, roughly the same. If you want to max it out, you know, go ahead and bury these all the way against the riser here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to check it for tiller, which means we're going to measure from the cam point here to the string and the cam point here to the string, and just make sure that they match. That makes sure that the cams are rolling over at the exact same time. So we'll do a quick check with that. We're off just a little bit. So what we need to do is we need to loosen this one just a little bit. We'll go ahead and check it again. Pretty dang close. We'll do it just a little bit more just so that it's perfect. And again, what we're doing is we're going from this cam point here to the string on both, and we're just making sure that that measurement is identical. So we're going to go there, we're going to go there, we're dead on. Then what we're going to do is the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to come back to the timing screw here. We're going to put a finger back here on the washer, and then we're going to tighten this dude up, tighten it down tight like that. And then the first time that you draw it, most likely it's going to pop, it's going to creak for the first draw. Everything's just getting set back in line. Go ahead and give yourself a slow draw. Make sure that everything's good to go. Check your cams with your cables. Make sure that everything's routed correctly. Silky smooth. For more tips and tricks on your Nitro, make sure you visit us at rpmbowfishing.com. If you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to give us a buzz, and really appreciate the support. Talk to you soon.